Ba-da-bum. Oh my goodness! Look at that. Look at that. Let's just move that on up, shall we? Okay, so what am I doing? I am going to be inking this to be watercolored. So this is my Deathstroke piece I did last week, live here on SketchCraft. And then I've scanned it in, and then I've reprinted it out, 25% opacity, and I will be inking this with waterproof ink, actually, um, for watercolor. So let me just pop out the chat here so I don't have to see me. There we go. And so what will I be using? I'll be using this ink, this burnt sienna ink. It's German. It's sienna, burnt sienna, Rohrer and Klingner. If you can, yeah. Zeichentusche. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's good stuff though. It has a sweet smell actually. It's kind of crazy. So I just need to stir this sucker up here. Gotta stir it up before you use it. It's good to go right out the can. Don't have to dilute it or anything. Mix it with water, which I really like. Actually. And I use this because it gives life to the lines as you paint them. And if I want the lines a little darker, a little less reddish, I can just paint right over the lines and they tint without bleeding or blending in. It's taken only 200 saucies to figure all this shit out. So, quick tip for you. You could save yourself 200 sauces. Just buy yourself some ink like that. Good to go. So, anyhow, it's like $12 a bottle. It's worth it. It's worth it, folks. I'm actually going to put on something for me to listen to while I work, because this might take an hour, maybe two, probably 2 hours to do. I'm going to leave the chat open. If anyone's in here and wants to say hi, say hi. Otherwise, leave the comments below down in the special spot down there. And you let me know what you want to know, and I'll let you know what you want to know. And we can get going. So, cool. Old Ron Passaro. Love that song. Do, 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 do. Sketchcraft song. Let me grab my nib. This is a Delator nib. Delator comic pen, Maru nib. M-A-R-U. Imported from Japan. This is a Grifhold cartooning number 47. I like it 'cause it's metal. It's got a little grip. It's light. Super lightweight. It's tiny too. It's not this giant long thing back here, which I don't like. So it's more like a pencil. And these nibs are super sharp. And I've stabbed myself a couple times. And they're strong. Like 10 times stronger than like a Hunt or anything else. So, Delator Maru comic nib pen. They come in packs of 10. In case you didn't know. Ooh, look at that. I jumped. I grabbed the wrong keyboard. Sometimes I do that. I have two different keyboards here. All right. Hey, thank you, Immortus. Thank you. Big thumbs up. Do 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 do. About to get started here. Seconds. Need to put on some tunes because I'm a little. Do 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 do. Waiting for iTunes to load so that I can get to drawing. Come on. Come on, iTunes. Doesn't matter how much RAM you have. Doesn't matter how fast the computers are. They still move. They're still using. Mm. All right. Now we can get going. What am I sketching? I'm actually re-inking something. So I drew this Deathstroke, Deadpool. See how that goes. This is Deathstroke. I did this last week. It's on the channel. Um, and I got to watercolor it. So what I do is I scan it in, I print it out at 25% opacity onto the same kind of papers, this Canson mixed media stuff, and then I have to re-ink it using this waterproof ink, which you see here, which I'm going to do right now. Yeah, it has to be done so I can paint next week. And I'm going to keep the original right near me so I can make certain I get pretty damn close. Oh no. What the? Where did that come from? Look at that, I already got a spot. That's not good. Yeah, I kind of make up a lot of my own processes. Hmm. Will that spot affect my painting or not affect my painting? That is the real question. I'm leaning to think it won't matter. Let's keep it. Huh? Let's not tell anybody. Let's not tell future buyers. If I reprint it and start to color over it or do it again, what if I get another blemish on there? You only want to start redoing things if it's like a total catastrophe. Otherwise, we'll fix it. Trick is to kind of draw with the tip, the very tip of this thing. Very lightly. So you dip the pen and you keep a little scratch paper next to you and you dab it scratch it a few times so it doesn't build up too much ink. And then use a minimal amount of pressure when you go back to ink it. And the paper already has some tooth to it, so it's not, not just gonna grab the ink and make it super dark. It can give a little bit more. When using a nib, you just want to make sure you're using a lot of the same kind of strokes. You want to go this way, this way, this way, this way. You want to be careful you're not doing like this weird stuff where it scratches and rips the paper. Takes a little trick. Circles are hard. You kind of go this way and then this way. But if you're using like a pen, like a Copic pen, you can just make a straight circle. Upside using the nib nose, you only need to use one. I don't need several different pens. And I can use waterproof inks or different colored inks. So I'm still deciding whether I should ink all the blacks with the nibs or not. I did on this, but might just be faster to do my black and white stuff with Copic pens. The difference in quality is the same. I don't really see any difference. Maybe I'll just save the nib for when I'm doing this. Do I go to university to get better at art? No, I do not. I self-taught myself. I did go to an art school, but I didn't do any art there. I ended up doing 3D and video. I wanted to do art, but they just didn't really have me do much of that. So I had to learn how to do all of this after school. So I got those nice student loans for learning how to not be an artist. You know, I learned how to get a YouTube channel, which, that's worth $50,000. It's one of the reasons why I started making videos. I was like, well, at least I can get some of that damn school money back. Do I like to draw anime? I like anime a lot. I would like to draw anime if it were for something specific. I do have some Final Fantasy stuff, which isn't anime, but it's Japanese. I will be doing some One Punch Man art. We actually are doing a One Punch Man recap show now. We just started with episode 1. I have a One Punch Man replay. Playlist. And we'll be posting episode 2. So, and I will be doing some One Punch art soon. And then this year, I will find the time to do some Full Metal because I really love Brotherhood. It's probably my favorite thing ever. I do have a Dragon Ball Z piece coming up. Um, Part of the Kickstarter. The fans voted they wanted me to draw Dragon Ball, so that'll be happening. That'll probably be a digital piece, though. I don't know yet. I haven't decided. But yeah, I do watch anime. Like I watch Shirobako. I finished that up. Yeah, I worked on T-shirts for a long time, so I did work on like the Death Note anime shirts. So if you've seen Death Note shirts, I probably had something to do with that at some point. And I would say a lot of my personal art is a mixture between Western and Eastern art styles. Yeah, well, that's a good place to start. In terms of coming up with your own things, it's a matter of develop. Like I'm working on that. I'm working on a series in which I can try to explain to people how to start to develop their own ideas, and then actually show drawing techniques for doing that. So it's not a how to draw per se, which I think there's plenty of reference out there for that, but in terms of how to start developing your ideas and getting them out from a sketch form into a form, that you could start to build off of and develop from your imagination. I just started drawing the covers for Skylanders over at IDW, so with issue 5. So I jump around in terms of content. Yeah, I think it's less about drawing noses and eyes and stuff. I think it has more to do with shapes. Um, it has far more to do with silhouettes of characters and shape play. And so I think, people get way too into like, well, this chin and this nose will go, and this is how I draw eyes and this is how I draw nose. It has more to do with overall construction, overall shape, and then playing the two off one another. And once you can start to do that, um, then you can draw anything. I've drawn everything from Claymore. I used to work for Game Magazine, Play Magazine, so I've done Claymore, I've done No More Heroes 2, and then I flipped over and drawn Skylanders and Richie Rich, and then flipped over and did stuff for Big Dog and Aspen Comics, very J. Scott Campbell kind of style art. And I'll tell you, the difference between all of them really is just shapes, you know. So then you start to develop things like silhouettes, and you can paint little blobs of silhouettes and take these silhouettes and start to build into those silhouettes. So that's where you don't need to start looking at things. You can actually start to build silhouettes and then draw those shapes into the silhouette, and you can invert the line and start to build all your details on top. Yeah, fairy tale's cool. got to be careful. Sometimes it can build a little bit of paper on the tip of the brush, of the nib. Make sure knock over the ink. Was high school hard for me? How was high school hard for me? Well, I graduated in 1996. Um, my home life was interesting. Basically, kind of went like this. I got up at between 6 and 6:30 in the morning. Got my brothers up. My brothers going, got them breakfast. I had three. I had three for a little while, then just the one because there was a divorce. Got them up and going. Got them breakfast. Got myself dressed and ready. Was on my bus by 7:15. Got to my bus stop by 8. Got a coffee and my newspaper. Bus picked me up at 8:30. Dropped me off at 8:45. School didn't start till 9:30. Um, School started late for some reason, so I had about an hour's wait. And then uh, I was usually at school till 4:30. Didn't get home from my bus trip until 5:30. Took care of my brothers, did house chores, made dinner, cleaned the kitchen, all that bullshit. Till about 10, did my homework from 10 to midnight when I got my dad up for work. Got him out the door by 1, and then I drew till about 2 in the morning, and then I got 4 hours of sleep and did it again. So that was my high school. Uh, my father maintained that I had to have straight A's, so I had to, no matter what, or I got the shit kicked out of me. So I had all A's, all B's, all A's. By my junior year, I had all A's. It took 2 years to kind of get to the point where I could do that. I never went to parties. I did go to dances with my girlfriend eventually. That I did get to do. But I can't say in terms of the workload it's been any different between school and this, you know. This may look like, oh, Rob, you just draw all day. Well, yeah, but I've been in art departments and, you know, cool part about it is, school is what it is, man. You know, enjoy it now, and don't miss it when it's gone because I don't. You know. Although to be honest, you cats got it a little tougher in a lot of ways. You know, people were a lot less strict when I was in school. They didn't care if you brought, you know, they didn't care about shit you said or what you were doing on the internet. You know, if people didn't like me at school, they couldn't go on the internet and start to harass me all night too. So I do feel I was largely left alone by the time I got to high school. I was on the school newspaper for 4 years. I was in the art curriculum for 4 years. Did the AP art thing. My advice would be is don't take student loans. Honestly, if you just want to get a degree in art, go to community college, pay for it per class out of your own pocket or for grants or whatever else you can get. Take your sweet ass time and build your art portfolio while you're doing that and whatever other work you got to do to cover rent. You know, it's my advice. Stay away from art schools. That's how I felt in high school, and everyone told me I was crazy, and I ignored and I took their advice. Said, I'll just go. Loans, whatever. Everyone has loans, and now I'm like, this is exactly what I told myself not to do in high school, and I was right. So luckily, my shit's gonna be paid off this year because I've been very studious. But I'll be honest with you, that's just not the case for most people. And we live in a world where people want to pay the least amount of money for art. So at least people who sign checks. Average people, they respect it. The fans on the net, they respect the time it takes. They get it. But I'll be honest, employers, they don't want to pay shit. Even the best ones, just the amount of effort you got to put into it versus what they pay. That's why a lot of work goes overseas, because the dollar is worth more down there. Yeah, it's a little heavy on the ink there. But I went from school to figuring out what I was going to do next for the couple years, and then I joined the army. I did that for 3.5, almost 4 years. Got out a little early because of a back injury. Uh, took a year off to figure out what my next plan was going to be. Went to art school. Did absolutely no art. Did a little bit of 2D animation the first year. That I did do. Um, hand animated. And then got stuck in this 3D program. Realized about another year in that I was going to get stuck with no work. So I started going to cons, which got me my first freelance gigs, going to conventions, people just walking up, handing me their business card. Parlayed that into a job doing T-shirts while I was in school, so graphic design on T-shirts for like all the Marvel movies at the time, Spider-Man 3, X-Men 3 at the time, which gave me a pretty nifty career. Graduated school while I was working, uh, and then parlayed that into a job into video game magazines, and that was really good. I was doing these graphic novels and stuff up until the video game magazine collapsed after the recession. Every game magazine basically tanked, and had to go back to doing T-shirts, and was going to sit there just doing that and working on my own projects up until I did this Kickstarter that pissed Marvel off, and then they called my employers, and basically I've been banished from T-shirts ever since. And so I've been building my own career from the pad since then. Hey, what up, dude? It isn't until the past year or two I've been able to get work and do my own style. The internet's actually helped more out with that than publishers. What generally happens is you get hired to work how they want you to work. You draw how they want you to draw. Unless you're a super genius artist. If you say, well, I draw like anime, they're going to be like, well, we don't care. You know? So you got to know when you can draw in their style and when you can add your own flavor to it on top of that. Like Skylanders, I have to make it look like Skylanders, but I don't want it to look generic. So, the coloring helps me solve a lot of that. And I try to put everything I can into the shapes and the details, but I can't put any style on the characters' faces because they won't get approved. So unless you're only going to do your own stuff forever, you're gonna have to learn how to play you know, in someone else's playground. And make art that will get you paid. And not completely, you know, obliterate what you bring to the table. Case in point, like these paintings and stuff, I've never been able to get one publisher to pay me for a watercolor painting, you know, ever. So, they only like the digital stuff. That being said, you know, physical art can sell, you know, people can own it. So I've had to do everything. Digital, traditional, painting, drawing, writing, graphic design. That's my career experience. Everything. I mean, that versatility helped me when I went to work at game magazines because one minute we're doing No More Heroes 2, and the next minute we're drawing like Mario Brothers, and they can't look the same, you know. So being able to be versatile helped. That means they didn't have to hire someone else. You know, they could just hire me. The downside is if you blend in so much, no one ever knows you did anything. I have that problem. I've worked on a lot of things no one knows. You know. Um, Ooh, be careful you don't put your hand in, have wet paint. Hey, what are you doing? Cooking? Alright, when you get done, I need you on Skype. I gotta talk about something. I don't know, Brandon. Yeah, eat then hop on. Alright, like, I told him that. Hey, when you get done, give me a call on Skype. Well, how long is it gonna take? I don't know. Well, should I eat first? I just said. This guy. Again, they don't hear you, you know? I don't know how long it's gonna take. That's why I said call me when you get done. So I should call you when I get done. Yeah, good suggestion. Glad you thought of it. Hey, give me a sec. I gotta help my wife carry up a bag of rabbit pellet. All right, let's finish this up, huh? I got shit to do today. Yep. Hello. All right, there we go. Hella annoying. Thank you. Once the paper can fight back. I think that is done and ready to be painted. So yeah, took about an hour. 90 minutes. 90 minutes with the break. Not hard. You know? I used to think, oh, I don't want to redraw it. It's not hard. What I don't like to do is lightboard. I just don't like the lightboarding process. The big light shining in my face. I did so much of that animation on the lightboard. It drives me batshit crazy. So I don't do this down here because I want this to kind of fall down into the watercolor, the stuff down here. So that's that. Original pencils and inks, scanned in, printed out, and traced in waterproof ink. I will be painting this on Tuesday. Tuesday and Wednesday I'll be painting. So I have some more work to do. That's it for now. Be back soon. Peace.